And you gotta make sure you're right next to it, Toby.
I have to pull it up.
When it's your county safe.
Yeah. We never had any.
All of a sudden, people are listening to the mic.
All of a sudden, she knows we're live.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Opie, you weren't here when I was talking about the microphone, but you do need to have it like right in front of your mouth.
Almost beat it.
We did have some complaints from citizens who said they could not hear the council people when they were speaking, so. You
If
guys,
you put a lollipop on the end of it, we'll put it right by our mouth.
yes, that worked really well.
Okay. Okay. Are we ready to start? Oh,
Hi, Jamie. Hi, Chief.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, she was gonna make me run it, but she was gonna be on there anyway, so they told her she had. Been a while. Oh, that's better if you take the light on, Jamie.
We haven't started yet, right?
No.
Can I ask
No.
a question then? No, have to wait.
Who said no?
I wanna know, what is the city doing for that? That almost $9,000 that we're charging for the sewer and water connections. Remember that money was for the sewer connections and water connections?
Oh, when new houses come in?
Yes, yes. What is it?
What is it called? I forgot.
The general.
What is
facility
it? It
charge.
goes into the.
What is it?
The general facility charge?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What is the city doing for that money?
For it?
Yeah. What's it called, city
So the general facility charge?
general facility charge?
They hook up the.
So that charge is actually to pay into the existing system. So everyone else has paid so far with the increase in their water bill and their sewer bill, right? So we paid for the increase hike. So that is basically, that money is to bring the person moving into the existing system. That's what that's supposed to be.
Right.
That's supposed to be,
But I'm supposed to hook up the meters and all that stuff, hook up to the sewer water, to the sewer line?
We hook up.
Cause
from
we
the-
used to.
We hook up from the road up to their water meter.
Right.
Yeah.
And we hook up the water meter to our thingy and they hook up to that, right?
right, so it was, but they're,
Laura's shaking her head, but Gordon don't.
Yes. We hook up from our main, that hooks them up to their meter. Then we supply the meter to them and they hook the meter up. And then we make sure that it's hooked and then we go out and check it.
From the house to the meter they hook up, right?
Did you hear that?
Hook up
I'm
the
not sure if
meter
you
and they hook up from there? We're supposed to hook up the meter and then they
We
hook up
do
to
on
that?
our end. We
No,
do from the,
she just said we gave them the meter and then they hook it up.
no, don't we hook them up from the road to the meter on our end of the city?
We used to.
And then they hook from their place to the meter, their end?
You know, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that they do their own hookup to, they have to have a professional come in and hook up to our actual line, I think. Gordon's not here, but I'm almost positive that they do all, I mean, that's part of their thing, I think. Don't
Actually,
quote me, but I almost think.
I
Jameson,
can
do you?
comment. Gordon and I had this discussion. It's actually in our code that we are the ones that are supposed to do that connection. We have historically not done that. We have required them to do it. But our code actually right now says that we are supposed to be the ones doing it. So Gordon and I have talked about whether or not we want to talk to you guys about changing the code or changing our process. So either way, they're not congruent right now.
Jamie, Jameson, I think historically, we used to hook up the meter.
That's what she said.
No, she said we didn't.
Well, not since anyone who still works here right now has been here. That doesn't mean that that wasn't before that. But since everyone who works here now has said that they have never hooked up meters themselves, they've always had other people do it. So we could ask Tootie.
The one that knows
And
too.
I'm sure that we did used to do it because otherwise it wouldn't be in the code like that.
That's why, because we got you guys who supposedly don't know how to do it or don't want to learn how to do it. So we charge this big old extra price and now we don't do nothing.
But Laura, when they built the new houses on your road, on your street over there,
Yeah.
didn't Grandview come in and hook that up for us a couple of times?
Yes,
couple of
Grandview
those
done it. Grandview done it with the first 2 brand new houses. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
So then after that, we just quit doing it? The city, us, our responsibility part?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I don't know if the guys actually do hook that up. I just know that we changed the prices, and the reason that them prices changed was because all the residents that lived here and has lived here and went through that huge hike in our bill to pay for all of the water system and the sewer system. This is a way where new houses can't come in and like benefit off of everybody that's lived here in the past,
Yeah.
right?
But we know that part, but when I heard a complaint, so now we've hiked our prices now and we do nothing. We just hike
No,
them
but I
lower.
don't think that's a true statement, because I know that I overheard Gordon talking with someone else about going and hooking up a water line. So I'm almost I mean, it's something we need to ask Gordon, but I know that we've talked as a unit as a whole, and I'm under the impression we're doing that. We're hooking that up. That's part of this cost.
We used to do it.
Could we look into that and find out and bring it back, and if people are
Definitely.
complaining about it?
Yeah, but let's
We
go
need-
ahead and go on the record, okay? Because we're not actually doing our meeting yet, all right? So let's back up a little bit, and we'll make sure that we note this and put it on the record on the record for our meeting, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and start this meeting. We do have a quorum. We're a little bit late. Is everybody ready? Jameson?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll start this meeting at 7:05 for the council meeting for January 26, 2021, 7:05. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's go, everybody up. Oh, shoot. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. So thank you. We'll take a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. Josh, would you do roll call, please?
Vera Zavala.
Here.
Sophia Sotelo.
Here.
Diana Castaneda.
Here.
All right, I'd like to put on the record that Sylvia Sanchez was excused. She was sick today. So we excused her from the meeting tonight. And has anyone heard from Mark Gorno or Tootie De La Fuente?
No, but Laura, I think that I don't remember us discussing that we were gonna have a meeting tonight. That's gonna be my excuse, but Neither does Sophie or Diana, so
It's true, we weren't
did
told
we
had a
set
meeting.
the meeting at the last meeting for today?
Yeah,
I
'cause
don't
now-
recall.
we're ready to, like, we have everything in place where we can do meetings legally, so we'll be doing the council meetings as, you know, the second and fourth Tuesday of each month.
Now,
Yeah,
but
from
did
here
we
on,
do that at
yeah.
the-
But we weren't
Now that we
informed
have all the cameras set up and we can be legal and be able to have, you
Well, I
know,
think
the public
reason-
forum.
I think that's the reason why we are missing people.
Okay,
I don't think it was understood that the
Because I
meeting was
didn't know
tonight.
about it.
I wouldn't have known if I hadn't been here yesterday. or
okay,
something.
and
It
I mean,
wasn't
that's completely fine. We'll just note that on the record and we're good with that.
We're
Okay.
going back with second and fourth Tuesday from now on again.
Correct. Okay, so we'll go ahead and vote in the meeting agenda, please.
I make a motion that we vote in a meeting agenda.
I second the motion on the meeting agenda.
I have a motion by Vera and seconded by Diana. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion approved. Vera and Diana, you guys sound so much alike on the video. It's hard almost to distinguish the two of your voices. You sound quite a bit alike.
Because we're neighbors and we talk to each other.
Okay, so we'll go on to visitors' comments. Jameson, do we have anybody that's wanting to come on for comments?
Let me double check, but I don't believe so.
So
No,
now,
There
now,
are no comments.
okay, thank you. So now, council, people can come on for public comment. You just have to contact the city a little the day prior or the day of, right, Jameson? And
Yeah.
then let Jameson know so she can send that invite and they can be come on if they have something they want to talk about. So just so you guys know that if anybody, you know, says, well, I can't go in and speak, there is the way to do that, and all they need is to get a hold with Jameson and she can set that up for them. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll go on to the consent agenda. I need a motion for the consent agenda, please.
I'll make a motion, we pass the consent agenda A through E.
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion by Vera, seconded by Sophie. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. We have no new business.
We do have new business.
I'm sorry. And so we'll move on to new business, which is our fourth quarter final report. Jameson, you want to take it from here?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna see if I can share my screen here. No, maybe not. I was gonna try and share this so that people could see it on there, but I can't do that. So I'll just walk you through it. So this is just the year end for 2020. The city ended the year with $795,031.05 in our various bank accounts and investment accounts. With our budget amendment, our expenditures were right in line with our budget for 2020. We
Hold on.
did.
This is on page, she's on like page 24, 25, if you guys need to know where she's at.
Correct. 24, 25, and 26. So 24 is just an overview of all activity in the accounts that the various funds for the entire year. Page 25 shows the comparison between the actual expenditures per fund and what we budgeted after our budget amendment. And so we were right in line with where we thought we were going to be. So that's good. And then page 26 shows the difference between our revenues and expenditures. And obviously, some of our funds, we knew that our revenues were much less than our expenditures, like our street fund and our cemetery fund. But the rest of our funds actually did pretty well. We were very worried about our water, sewer, and garbage, but we did get quite a few people that paid on some of those accounts that were in arrears. And so we actually came out a little bit ahead on revenues, which is good for our reserves. So we're doing good. That's pretty much all for that. I'm going to start working on the annual reports for USDA, which we're required to keep because of our USDA projects, and the state auditor's annual report, which is due in the spring. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
I'd like to just jump in there, Council, and just take you back to 2018, January, when we sat at council and we saw what our revenues were and our expenditures were, and where each of these, I'm on page 20, I'm on page 26 right now, where all of these were in those times. And if you remember, we had 4 different funds that was upside down, and some of them extremely upside down. And water and sewer were huge concerns to the city of Mapton in 2018. And we was actually getting in, you know, we were not on the right track with many entities because we were so upside down. But in these years, we've really been able to bring this up. And part of the water sewer reason that we was able to bring it up so quickly was because of some of the housing that come in. Because when they pay that $4,500 to, or the $4,000 to water, it goes to the water fund. When they pay to hook up to sewer, that money goes into sewer fund. And so it's helping those funds get back up where they need to be and not upside down. That extra money, when we get that in, when we get that monies in, we can't put that in the general fund because we didn't get that money from the general fund or for the general fund. We got that money from the houses because they're hooking up to our water, they're hooking up to our sewer. So that money has to go into our water and into our sewer. And that's what's helping. Like our water sewer fund was so upside down, if you remember, I mean, extremely bad, but we've really cut back on things. And that all the building, all the people coming in. I mean, we've had, I think 12 houses now, and we have 2 more. One just laid the foundation. So that's going to help our city grow and get above what we need to be and have them reserves, like Jameson said, have some reserves money in there in case a big water line breaks. We're not taking out a loan for that. We're going to hopefully have that money in our water fund to deal with a water break or to deal with a huge sewer problem. This is one of the ways that we're going to be able to do that. So
just to reiterate, she's 100% correct. And those system development charges basically go into our account because every time our system gets bigger, it is a higher expense to maintain it, which obviously people are paying their rates for the normal monthly costs. But as the system grows, our entire water system and our entire sewer system grows. And Jamin, I think, is on here. We could probably have him come in during staff reports, but all of those things increase costs for the city. And we only have so many allowed connections for water and sewer based on our permits. So we need to collect that money to help offset those costs. And for 2020, since we increased that fee, which you had not had before, I don't believe, that system development or facilities charge. The water fund took in $14,000 in general facilities charges for 2020. And so that is a huge help in offsetting a lot of these new costs that we have. Let me tell you what the general facilities fee for sewer was, just a moment. I like being in my office because I can look this stuff up right away for you guys. So we took in $18,000 in 2020 in our sewer fund for our general facilities charge per sewer. And our sewer fund is one of those that is upside down. So that's a very good, it's a good deal for us to have. And I know it is painful when people are developing new homes, but those are the things that will offset those rate increases as our system gets more expensive to operate.
Bill voted into doing that for the upgrades, but I had a question about what is the city side doing? We've upped those rates, but now it seems like we're not doing the connections like which we used to do. We're not doing anything now. We're just, because we got new employees that don't know how to do it or don't want to do it. So they're just handing it over to the developers and then them handle it and install themselves.
I will get back to you, Sophie, at our next council meeting. Well, I'll actually have Gordon get back to you on that. He would be the person that really should answer that question to you. He's your lead. And so we'll discuss that with him, and then he can come in and let you know exactly what we do for your buck, what the city does for your dollar.
And actually, I think I'm gonna see if you guys want to know how that general facilities charge was developed. I think Gray and Osborne worked on that. So let me see if I can bring Jamin in, because that general facilities charge is not, I don't think that it's supposed to be to pay for the actual piping necessarily. I think it is for long-term costs, but let me just get him. He is with us. So hold on one second.
Because before, I think we just charged $500 and that was it. And that basically.
Well, there's two separate charges. There's a permit, and then there's the general facilities charge. And I think that you always had the permit. This is just me. I don't know for sure. I think you always have had the permit, but you added the general facilities charge after a study last year. Hi, Jamie.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
Hey, so yes, the city. Thanks. So I think the question is, has the city always had a connection charge, and we just added GFC on top of that, or did we add all of that recently? Is that correct?
Yeah, and what does the general facilities charge cover? Like,
Yeah.
what is that meant to cover for costs?
Yes. So the city's had a connection charge for a while, and that's intended to cover the administrative costs at City Hall of creating a new account. And then I believe the city's code is that also they're responsible for paying the city's costs and connecting them to the system. So the physical pipe and the meter and the box, they have to reimburse the city and the city's labor for doing that. I believe they have to pay for that. And then there's also a fee to help set up the paperwork and create a new account in the billing. That was the connection charge, and that's what the city already had. The GFC, which was just added early last year, I believe, is intended for them to buy into the system. And so that's like you're buying stock in a company. They're basically buying their share of the city's water system, because all the other ratepayers have been paying to build the system over the years. They've been paying that in their rates every month. And so it's the new owner's opportunity to buy into the system and buy their share of the water system, essentially. And if you went just based on the math, that number would be over $10,000, or it would be a lot more higher. And so that's where the city council last year decided, okay, we don't want to go as much as we can. Here's a number that we think will help the city recoup some of its costs, but isn't so high that it will scare a developer away. I think that was the council's rationale in selecting those. Does that make sense? Is that helpful?
Makes sense, Jamin, but the thing that Sophie's asking is on our side, we used to run our line to the water box or to the, you know what I mean, the water box. Now
Yeah.
it's not being done. The homeowner's doing it all themselves.
Okay.
being said. So
Yeah.
that's our question. What are we doing for the homeowner for the amount of money that they are paying?
I think it broke up there for a second, but I think I understood the question. Let me take a stab at it and then tell me if it doesn't make sense and we'll try it again. Typically, either the city installs the service line to the meter and the meter box. That is located at the property line, and then the homeowner or the developer is responsible for getting the service line from the meter to the house.
Right.
However,
We understand that, and that's what we understand isn't being done. The
okay,
city running that line to the meter.
the way that can be, sorry. The way that can be done though is that sometimes there's a developer that's going to put in 100 homes, and so the city's, he's going to put a water main down the street as well as putting in the services, and the city doesn't always want to have to do that with city staff. And so what the developer can do, and this is just general developer practice, is that the developer would submit that to the city and say, I want to build this water main. Here's how I'm going to do it to city standards. And then that's an opportunity for the city. And it's something that, as your engineering firm, we can help with, review their plans, review their intent. But then sometimes you will let them install it as long as they're installing it within the city approved plans. And sometimes the city will have an inspector on site to make sure that they're doing that. And so when, for instance, when the hop farm south of town wanted to put in a fire line, they submitted a design. We worked with city staff to review it. And then while they were installing it, because they were connecting to the city system, we had an inspector there to monitor the progress and just check to make sure they were installing it per the city's standard details. So there is some room for a developer to install that. But that would be it would need to be to meet city standards. And the city might want to monitor that installation if they're not doing it themselves.
Right.
Is that helpful?
Yeah, we understand everything you're saying. We're just wondering why it's not being done by the city anymore. Our guys are not doing it. And I know the roads have to be tore up sometimes for that pipe to be laid to the meter. So are we, if the homeowners are doing it, are we watching it? Like you said, is there somebody there making sure it's being done right? Or are we just allowing them to do it and telling us, well, it's done?
I can
Mike
answer
and-
that portion because we did some recently, and yes, we do inspect all of the connections and the street patch, the street repair, and all of that. And to switch gears from water to sewer, I believe that maybe Jamin, I might be mistaken here, but I believe that the city never does the side sewer installation. That is always done by a plumber pretty much. Is that correct? So like the sewer line from the house all the way to the main would always be done by a contractor, never by the city.
I'm not sure. I believe you're right. I'm not sure what the precedent has been in Mapton, because I think it's one of those things where if there's no growth for 10 years and there are no new houses, you don't have to answer this question. Then all of a sudden somebody builds 10 houses and it forces the issue. I'm not sure what the standard is. I believe that you're right. And it may just be as simple as the cities generally don't like developers touching their water system until they get it to a meter, versus sewer. It's not as much, you're not worried about contamination of some other, somebody else cutting into your water main.
Either way, I do agree with you ladies on the council that it is in our code that we are supposed to be doing that work on the water side from the meter box to the water main. That is what our code says we are supposed to do. And I don't think that, at least unless they started doing it recently, I think in the last few years, they had not been doing that work themselves. Like Laura said, I believe that Grandview, or one of you guys said, Grandview did a couple for them. And I'm not sure who else did others.
So we contracted someone to come do it for us.
Yeah.
Because our guys didn't know how to do it.
Isn't that right, Laura, that we got Grandview to do it because our guys didn't know how?
Yes, and that's a true statement. So,
And now
and
we're-
so the thing is like from that point on, like right after that point, we hired a lead. And so that lead, we'll get to the bottom of it. If we are not doing it, we will start doing it. I mean, because it is in our code, and I honestly assume that we was going to the box, but I can't honestly give you that answer because that's not something I really check on anymore. You know, that's not something we have a lead to do that. So that's the lead's job to check on that. You know what I mean? So
Meter gets done and not leave the meter on the new homeowner's porch and let them do it.
right. So I will check into it and I will make sure that Gordon gets with you guys so you guys know how that is working as well.
Yeah, because we need to know.
Thanks,
Okay.
everyone. Thank you, Jamin.
Thank
welcome.
you. Okay, so staff reports. Chief, do you have anything that you'd like to report tonight?
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the vehicles that have been stolen in the past couple of months. In the past, since I believe it's since November 1, we've had 5 cars that have been stolen in Mabton. But between Grandview, Sunnyside, and Mabton in that same time period, I want to say we're almost to 100 vehicles that have been stolen in that same time period. So we've gotten pretty fortunate that we've only had 5, but we really want the public to not leave their cars running to warm up. I know it's cold. It's not fun to sit in a cold car waiting for it to warm up, but please don't leave their cars running in front of your house because that's what's been happening. And certainly if you do that, don't leave a purse or anything of value in there that's visible. But you know, we're really encouraging people to get cameras, use their alarms if they've got them. We've seen cars stolen that have alarms on them that the alarms weren't set. So just a lot of little things that we can do that really help us out. But there is a lot of cars being stolen for whatever reason right now. There's just a lot of cars that are being stolen in the lower valley. So that's a main thing that we're asking. The other thing I wanted to touch base on was the vehicles that we had surplused, that the council had voted to surplus a couple of months ago. We have been selling those vehicles, the old patrol cars that have been at the sewage treatment plant. We've sold 2 of them, and we have a third one that I listed this past weekend, and it's already up to over $2,000 in the bidding. It jumped $500 today. So for some reason that vehicle, they're really bidding on it, but we're making headway on surplusing the old patrol cars. And I'm going to start looking at the ambulances too that are out there. So if those are not surplus, that's something that the council is going to want to look at, surplusing those, because we can get at least some money for them. I'm not sure, but one of the ambulances out there is in good condition, and we should be able to get some fairly good money for it. So that's just some of the things that we're working on right now and that we're focused on.
Thank you very much. Do you guys have any questions for the chief? All right, thank you, chief. We're doing a really good job. He's doing a really good job. I've been getting lots of phone calls from people mad that we're towing junk cars. We've towed their cars, and to me, when they get mad at me that their car's been sitting there for 2 years and it gets towed, I just sort of put a smile on my face because we don't want that junk here no more. So, so I think they're doing a really good job in that, and so thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Jameson, do you have anything else that you want to speak to anyone about?
Yeah, I just had a couple of things. I just wanted to remind everyone, the community, that dog licenses are due by the end of this month, just as a reminder. And then I wanted to touch base with you guys on the COVID effect on our utility accounts. So I just pulled fresh numbers today, and I think the last time I reported on this was in the fall, so it's been a while. But we do have still 6 accounts where people have not paid at all since COVID began. So they are at this point like 10 months past due. And the governor did extend the prohibition on shutoffs and late fees in conjunction with the Washington State Utilities and Transportation Commission. They have said that we're not allowed to do any shutoffs or late fees until now, April 30th of 2021, or if the emergency is lifted prior. So we don't see this situation going away anytime soon. The only good news is that we have had, I mean, we only have 6 now of people that haven't paid. And I think the last time I reported, there was about 20. So people are paying, but as these people that have had outstanding bills for a long time are starting to pay, we have other people who have, you know, stopped paying as well. So we do actually have a total of 30 people who have not made any payments since August. So that includes those ones that haven't made any payments at all, and all the way up through August. So all that said, that's about $44,000 in outstanding utilities that we have not collected. If you include like the more recent ones, the people who are just a month or 2 behind, we actually have 70 accounts that would, if we were allowed to, be shut off right now for non-payment. So that's a total of almost $62,000. So basically 70 different households in town would be turned off right now if we were allowed to do so. And that's as of the 20th of this month when we would have done shut-offs. So it's not looking good, but we are getting the older ones are paying. So I think it seems like everybody's just lagging a few months. We are trying to do the best we can to tell everyone about the programs available to help pay these off, because there are a lot of programs out there, like through Northwest Community Action Center and OIC, and I think Yakima Community Health. There are a lot of programs, so we are doing the best we can to get that information out there, and that will be on the next utility bill as well, with that contact information. So hopefully we can get some more of these paid off. But my main concern really is those 6 accounts that are going to be close to a year past due. And those are the ones that I really want to get paid. Go ahead, Diana.
I have a question for you. Now, these people, did they get a letter knowing that they're going to have to pay on these accounts when this thing is over, that they do have to pay them, or?
We've done several series of letters. The last one I did, I think, was in October. So it is time. I am, with this new list I just finished today, I am going to start sending letters out again to remind people and to let them know that these fees are not being forgiven. The governor is not writing them off. So far, there hasn't been any money given directly to utilities to pay for these. So, you know, people need to pay as much as they can, or use those programs that are out there that have been receiving money to assist people. And maybe with the new COVID relief money that they're talking about in Washington, D.C. now, maybe we might get some money where people can apply to us to have some of these relieved. That would be amazing. But right now we don't have any such programs. So we're just referring people to the other ones. But yeah, so I will be sending a new batch of letters out. Probably, I think the letters will probably go out right around the first week of February.
Thank you. Thank you, Jameson. Okay, so I'll just do a couple things. So first off, I want to let you guys know that Vera Zavala donated $500 to the city with some of her money, and we bought 4 trees and 3 lilac bushes from Gannon's. Gannon today, Mr. Gannon called me today and said that he has a whole bunch more trees out there, and he knows that the city doesn't really have much money right now, but he would be willing to let the city have those trees and pay him at a later date. He won't charge us for the actual tree. What he charges us is the the man that goes and takes the tree out of the ground for him and gets it ready, it averages $100 a tree. And so that's what the city would be paying for. I told him that I didn't know if, I mean, we want the trees. He gave us 4 trees and 3 big lilac bushes, medium-sized lilac bushes for $500 for the pullout of them. And he does have more. And so the city does need more trees. We have some trees that still needs to be pulled out and replaced. And 2 of these trees are going to go into the governor's, into the Fazell Park. We're going to take that mulberry bush tree out and plant 2 trees in there somewhere close around in that area. But I just want to know what you as council think about that. We don't really have a budget for trees. And I spoke with Jameson a little bit about it earlier. We do have a $1,500 budget for trees, but it's more like for tree maintenance. Like if we need to cut down a tree or a tree falls and we have to have somebody professionally come and get it, something to that effect, right? Or to trim trees. But it's not like to buy trees. So if you're out on the street and you come across somebody that has some money that wants to do something really positive, you know, they could always donate it to the city for trees or for the city for whatever. We have a couple more things that I want to get done before the end of this year. All the irrigation everywhere, as we know, in 2018 had all been frozen out. So we was lucky enough to get a whole bunch of money to replace all of the sprinkler systems except for Governor's Park. So I'm going to be working really hard this year to try and finish the sprinkler system in Governor's Park. And we're going to be working really hard and putting in a veterans wall. Me and Vera already have quite a bit of time involved in trying to scoop out a veterans wall, and we got some really good news yesterday from a person here in our city that might be willing to help with some of that. And then the only other thing is the rest of the money to finish the monument for Mel Staldemeyer. I'm lacking about $15,000 there. I am going to go up to Parker Foundation, the ones that gave us the money prior. I have a call into him. I called him earlier today, but he wasn't in. So I'm going to see if they maybe can help us with that. So there's a lot to still get done this year, and the city still has no money to do it. So there's going to be a lot of asking and smiling, and again, you guys as council, you know, if you know anyone, I mean, the city could, you know, use some help, even with equipment when this time comes, the professional hands that know how to do this when we're ready to set up the walls for the veterans monument, you know, somebody that knows how to do cement and, you know, just different things. If you can just get the word out there and say, you know, this year Mapton might need some help, and get their numbers, you know, if they're willing to help us, you know, we still have a lot to do. I think that these things that I've just mentioned right here is going to be really rough to $100,000, and that's a lot of money for our city. It's not too much to raise. We've raised $200,000 for this, and we've got 50,000 for here and 75 for there, and so it's definitely possible if we want it bad enough. And so you know, anything you guys can do as council to help. If you have a day off, you know, and you want to help out, you know, give me a call, because I've always got lots of things going on that I would love to have an extra person help me. And my staff is busy doing the work that the city needs done in front of them, and with all of the other little stuff I give them. So, you know, I could use that extra hand. I feel bad. I'm always, Vera's the one that always seems to walk in and say, can I help you do something? So, you know, if you guys have a moment, just, you know, give us some of your time through the week or a couple hours here and there, you know, go out with me and try and raise some money to finish these projects, you know. I'd really, really appreciate it. I've been sort of ill and it's been hard for me. So any help that you guys can give me as council, I would definitely appreciate it. And so would my staff and my city. I mean, they're very, very happy to see you guys walk in and answer questions for you and know that you're there to help them out too. So so I guess that's all I have. And I want to thank you guys for coming tonight and thanks for what you do for our city, really, you know. So do you as council have anything to say? Is there anybody else that would like to say something before I adjourn this?
How about Jamie? Does he have anything?
Jamie, do you have anything for the city that you'd like to shoot in on?
No, I don't have anything to add. Those were nice comments you just made, though.
Thank you. Okay, so I guess with that, I will see some of you at the next council. Hopefully I'll see some of you very soon, and we will adjourn this meeting at, what's the time? 7:43. And thank you.